Do you have a mentor? Some of you might say yes, some of you might say no, but I'm going to say that everyone has a mentor because who you listen to, who you follow, who you take advice from, that is your mentor. Welcome to another episode of Candid Conversations, hosted by yours truly, Tech Coach Ralph, where we are engineered to win. In this episode, we are going to be talking about mentorship. What exactly is mentorship? Well, I think the first thing we can do is actually look up the definition of mentorship. So let's take a quick look real quick. Mentorship is defined as the guidance provided by a mentor, especially an experienced person in a company or educational institution, a period of time during which a person receives guidance from a mentor. So they're using the word mentor in the definition. Let's look up the word mentor. An experienced or trusted advisor, advise or train someone, especially a younger colleague. All right. So now that we have established the definition of what a mentor is and what is mentorship, let's talk about it a little bit more. So why do I want to talk about mentorship, right? Do you have a mentor? Some of you might say yes, some of you might say no, but I'm going to say that everyone has a mentor because who you listen to, who you follow, who you take advice from, that is your mentor, right? And you can have more than one mentor. For example, I have mentors in multiple different places, right? Some of the mentors I have don't even know that they're my mentor, right? It's just that I take their advice, I follow, and I devise a plan and a strategy based on the information that they're sharing, the knowledge that they're sharing from their experience, right? Experience is key, right? And then like some mentors are, for example, my jiu-jitsu professors, right? Who've been training me for the past 3 years, giving me advice, giving me strategy, giving me tactics, always pushing me to be better. Those are also my mentors, right? But so the question is, who is your mentor, right? Who is your mentor? That's what I'm wondering. Because to think that someone can just assign you a mentor because their job is mentor, right? That's not a mentor, right? That's just a job that someone is given. And to me, if the person who is quote unquote mentoring you does not have any experience, does not, give you the right information, the right advice, because even with the mentors that I have, right, I still do my due diligence and I research and I get better understanding and I ask questions based on the information that I'm getting, just so I know that I'm getting it right, that I'm using it correctly. Because a lot of times we'll just take some information and then we just use it the way that we think it's meant, and then it's totally wrong and it hurts us in the end. I'll give you an example, right? I see so many videos of, you can go from making 20K to 200K in 6 months. And I'm like, really? Right? But people just eat it up because it sounds good. It makes you feel good. And now they tell you, but here's the catch, right? They tell you all you have to do is go sign up for insert bootcamp name here. And then in 6 months, we guarantee you that you will be making 5 times as much as you were making before, 10 times as much as you were making before. So you go and you sign up, you use their promo code, they get rich off of you. And then you're left applying for 3,500 jobs within a year and you can't find anything because your mentor gave you a bad resume. Your mentor didn't know how to navigate the job field. Your mentor doesn't know how to network. Your mentor doesn't know how to. They don't do the position. Like the job that you're applying for, they've never done it, right? So your mentor who got you into the boot camp, so that's one mentor, got you into the boot camp. Then the boot camp gave you, they gave you like valid information, but not how to properly apply that information, right? So now you miss out there. And then like So now the mentor that the bootcamp assigns you, because that is their job position, not their actual, like not what they're actually qualified to do. It's just a paycheck for them. And then you're left on an island trying to use this expensive 3 to 6 month education that you got to land a position, and you're struggling. You are struggling, right? So you need to effectively choose your mentors, right? Because everyone is it's I don't even know how I want to say this, right? But if someone is imposing their mentorship on you, right? What are they gaining from it? And if they are like, if it's very gimmicky, I certainly question it, right? So why did this come up? So on the show the other day for I started off the show with it, the live show when we were going through Amazon Q, the new chatbot. So check out that video. I'll link it, and I'll link it up here, right? But check it out. But I started off talking about mentorship, and I was having a conversation with someone who went to a boot camp, and they showed me the resume, because I'll take a look at somebody's resume, no biggie. For now, at least, because my time is getting more and more limited, so that might stop in the very near future. But I was giving them some advice and feedback on their resume, and they because they were not really getting any hits, and then they went ahead and made the updates, and then they got a hit, right? But they were like, "Oh, I haven't been practicing for interviews and stuff like that." And I said, "Well, you need to practice. You need to do mock interviews. You need to be prepared. And they said, "All right, I'm gonna go and check with my mentor." And I'm like, "Well, who's your mentor?" "Oh, it's the mentor from the boot camp that they gave me." And that was my first red flag. I'm like, "Okay, they gave you a mentor." So I'm like, "All right, does your mentor have any experience in the job that you're applying for in the field? Like, what's their background? Like, have they been a manager? Have they hired people? How many years have they worked in the field?" And I'm just thinking about my background, right? Of like how many people that I've interviewed, how many interviews that I've been on, the type of people that we're looking for, how to conduct the interview based off a job description, based off the needs of a company. I'm just thinking about all these things, right? Because I can't even count the amount of people that I've interviewed just in the past 6 months. Like the company that I'm working for, I started there back in February. Right now, this is we're just started December, and I can't even count how many people that I've interviewed while I've been at that company, right? So we're in December now, so within about 11 months, I've interviewed countless amount of people, and throughout my whole career, I've interviewed so many people, and I've been on quite a few interviews myself, right? So knowing how to navigate the system, knowing how to effectively communicate. If you are entry level and you're not used to interviewing, you're not used to applying, you're not used to writing resumes, then you need to effectively choose who's the best person qualified to do that, right? And who who are the other people involved? So when I think of a mentor, right? Like like it says here, an experienced and trusted advisor, right? And the first thing that I can think of is, who has experience in the field? How do I find somebody who's experienced in the field, right? Like, my formula is, let me find someone who is where that I want to be, and let me reach out to them and say, "Hey, I see I see your accolades, I see what you've done. I see that you're an expert in XYZ field, and I would like some mentorship. And here's the question here's the part that people don't like to add to it. How much will it cost me for you to mentor me?" Right? I mean, we can pay Udemy for a course, right? Which gives us valuable information. We can pay an extensive amount of money for a boot camp, which they give valid information. There's the way that they teach, like on the job work, might not be the most effective. The way they write your resume might not be the most effective, but they do teach you the core about whatever it is you're trying to learn, right? But me, I want to connect with experts in the field. So, for example, when when I'm learning jujitsu, while like I'm learning from experienced black belts, right? They are instructing me, they are mentoring me, they are seeing what I do wrong, they're advising me better ways to move, things like that. You know, coming up in the QA industry, there weren't many mentors that I could look to for strategy, right? So I had to really innovate and develop a lot of the processes myself, right? And that cost me a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of sleepless nights, waking up early, you know? And I would say the same for anyone who's been in their craft for a very long time, right? But so the other night, right, I was talking about $1 million game, $1 million strategy, right? $1 million information, $1 million people. And you might think, well, wouldn't that be a millionaire? Not necessarily for the most part. If you take someone who has been working in a field for 20 years, right? When you count up all of the knowledge that they've gained, how much they've been compensated for gaining that knowledge and applying that knowledge to whatever company, right? That adds up to over $1 million. 20 years of experience and knowledge is over $1 million worth, right? Maybe even more than that. And when you combine those people, right, that's super valuable information. Strategy, experience, right? Like the definition says, an experienced or trusted advisor. And those type of people, they're busy, they have things to do. They're not going out there and looking for you because honestly, they have better things to do, right? So when you go somewhere and someone is like pushing a mentor on you, right? You need to check you need to check the sources of anyone, right? But what my recommendation to you is you need to go out there and you need to find yourself a mentor, right? And you reach out to them and you ask them for guidance, for leadership, stuff like that, for strategy, because they have over $1 million worth of experience, knowledge, expertise. They've been up at 2 o'clock in the morning trying to figure out why these issues are happening, who've been on call, all that type of stuff. Like it's like searching for treasure, right? There is treasure scattered all around, but you need to find it and find who can add the best value to you. Because like you can get a mentor, and if they aren't if you see that they aren't really helping you, then fire them. Keep looking. You're not bound to anybody. You need to do what's going to put you in the best position. If you see that you've been applying and applying and applying for different jobs and stuff like that, and you're not getting any results, you need to check your strategy. You need to check the people who are advising you. You need to check the people who are mentoring you. But the people who the people who can actually help you, they actually don't have the time to help you. So you need to give them some type of incentive to help you. But I still think though, you getting that guidance and that leadership from them is a lot more cheaper than the amount of time that you're spending applying for countless amount of jobs, getting bad advice, to be honest with you, because what I hear coming from a lot of places, it's really bad advice, right? It's really bad advice. And I'm like I see these resumes, I'm like, I would never hire this person based on this resume. They don't express any value that this person brings. Nothing. The resume is so short, like I can't even tell what this person is capable of doing. They look exactly alike. And I give I go I'll give some feedback, right? And maybe that's it, right? Because like I've reached out to a few people. Like I'll go to their profile. I'm like, okay, this is where they're at. I'm like, hey, like how's your job search going and stuff like that. And oh, it's terrible. And I'm like, well, I can hear some advice and stuff like that. You give the advice, and then they don't implement it, and then you see them like complaining and stuff. Like, oh, finding work is so hard. Finding work is so hard. I'm like, but you don't implement anything. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not reaching out to people anymore, right? If you need something, you have to come find me. It just seems that so many times we say we want this, we want that, but I wonder, do we really want it? We'll do just the right amount to get this close, but then we don't put in the rest. Like we don't go the rest of the way, and I wonder why. I really want, like, what are our goals? In so many different places, right? I see so many people who are experts in the industry, cybersecurity field, right? And a lot of it in cybersecurity. I see it in software engineering. I see it in QA, all over the place, right? Customer success managers, all this stuff, right? And they're giving out information. They're like, oh, did you check this out? And oh, I'm open to answering questions, right? And nobody says anything. But so many times, I want to get into cybersecurity. I want to get into software engineering. I want to get into cloud engineering. I want to get into this. I want to get into that. I'm like, well, we're here to answer your questions. And then there's no questions. So that's why I always wonder, like, are you really serious? I don't know. Let me know in the chat, right? Let me know in the comments if you are really serious about the things that you say you want to do. So many endless amount of resources. You reach out every now and then you go back into wherever it is that you are. You have so many people willing to give you insight and information on their extensive experience, but you don't reach out. You don't ask questions. You don't really want mentorship. And guess what? We're going to be fine either way, right? We always talk about, and you know what? This just hit me right now. We always talk about the people at the top, right? Oh, the separation, the people at the top, they don't care, da 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 da. But then when the people at the top make themselves available, they say, oh, this is the blueprint that we followed. This is what's available here. This is what's available there. You don't use those resources. You don't reach out. You don't talk. You just continue to do Do you? And we're like, cool, not a problem for us because we're good. And we are grinding and we're going to continue to get better. But we also want to help you out along because we know that if we could do it, you could do it if you have the right work ethic. It's totally up to you. But those are my thoughts. That is my candid conversation with you today. Let me know what you think. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the chat. You might totally disagree. You might agree. Let me know if you have a mentor. Let me know where you got your mentor from. Let me know where you got your mentor from. Let me know what qualifies them to be your mentor. And here's the thing with me, by the way, right? I get new mentors on a daily basis, and I cycle out mentors on a daily basis, right? It depends on where I'm at, what I need, when I need it, and I keep it moving. But there's a core group of people that I trust, very few, but I trust their expertise, I trust their guidance. And I make sure that I'm able to add value back into their life. Anyways, yep, that's it. It's another episode of Candid Conversations. If you found this video helpful or informative or thought-provoking, whatever the case may be, or maybe you hated it, doesn't matter, right? It is what it is. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, like the video, share the video, check out the Patreon at www.techcoachralph.dev. Team up with me, and we can keep it moving from there, all right? But until next time, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you all. This is Tech Coach Ralph, signing off.
If you enjoyed the fascinating information shared in this video and you want more, be sure to hit the subscribe button to Tech Coach Ralph to be notified for new videos.
Enigmatic Joker.